Well, the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture resumes in Parktown, Johannesburg this morning. Former ANC MP Bloem is expected to take the stand to clarify some issues in former ANC MP Vytjie Mentor's testimony. Now, for more, let's cross live to our senior reporter, Mzandile Mbeje. Hey, Mzwai, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Let's recap a bit first. Former ANC MP Vytjie Mentor was on the witness stand. She was the first person to be cross-examined at the inquiry. Give us a bit of an overview of her testimony.
A very good morning to you, Blaine, and the viewers. Yes, Ms. Mentor took 2 days earlier this week where we saw the first person to be cross-examined. Remember, if you come to the commission and implicate some individuals, those people have the right to make an application to the commission to put a few questions to you in the form of cross-examination. The people who cross-examined Ms. Vytjie Mentor Blaine was the legal rep of Ms. Lakela Kaunda, who was an official at the Office of the Presidency. She was the Chief Operations Officer there. This relates to the phone call or the contacts Ms. Mentor alleges Ms. Lakela made to get her to meet the president in Johannesburg. But in that cross-examination, basically, the side of Ms. Lakela Kaunda was that she had never made any contact with Ms. Vytjie Mentor, and she submitted the cell phone records to prove that what she was saying was correct. But what we heard from Ms. Mentor was that she basically said she stood by her story, and she also asked the commission to investigate a second number of Ms. Kaunda. She said around 2010, Ms. Kaunda also had, I think, an 083 number. So the cell phone records proved that there may have been no contact, but of course she stuck to her story. And the second person to cross-examine Ms. Kaunda was, Ms. Mentor was Mzandile Mbeje, the rep, Mr. Siwela, around the taking of the name from the affidavit that she was laying the corruption case against so many people. And then she alleges that Mr. Mdolo said the name of former President Zuma should be removed. So that was the nature of the cross-examination. But of course, Mr. Mdolo denies all of that as well.
Yeah.
So then the judge will then have to decide on all of those matters. But Blaine, I can also go back to the evidence of hers, Mr. Vytjie Mentor. Remember, she was concluding the evidence that she had started late last year, I think in August. So when she concluded that evidence, so it was not closed because the commission felt that they needed to investigate certain aspects of what she had said.
Yeah. And
the issue really that arose, Blaine, is the China trip, the state visit that took place in China, where she said Atul Gupta was there, but then the Home Affairs records revealed that actually Atul Gupta never traveled there. And the issue of Fana Hlongwane, she retracted that, and then it did not continue because, remember, she said on the plane she had met Fana Hlongwane, but she retracted that, and then she apologized, and that matter was basically laid to rest. And the second issue that she had to deal with, Ms. Mentor, was the issue of taking the flights from Cape Town to Johannesburg. Remember, she lives in Cape Town, and that meeting was supposed to happen here in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
So the SAA produced records around the time where she alleges that meeting happened. So because she says that's the SAA she took, but of course the SAA also couldn't find any records to corroborate that. And then she basically said she didn't trust SAA, perhaps further investigation had to be undertaken.
Yeah.
The same story, or rather the similar story with the parliamentary records. As an MP, so they get to book the flights through the parliamentary system. Also, the parliamentary system couldn't corroborate any of those. And we came to another issue of the site visit, Blaine, to the Gupta house.
Yeah.
She says she had gone there when she walked in there. So she was asked earlier, what did she see? And she said at the compound, she saw about 4 to 5 houses. So when they went there for the site visit, so they only saw one house. And that was one of the issues really that the commission looked at. And the features, remember, she was very detailing in terms of what had transpired when he was at the house, what is it that she had seen, so what are the features that were there. So what the commission did, they then took the experts to also go there to check all those features she had mentioned. So the conclusion basically from the experts was that none of all those things that she had mentioned were there. Yeah. And that did prompt a question, Blaine, from the Deputy Chief Justice to say, Ms. Mentor, given that just about everything that we have spoken about here you do not necessarily agree with it. So how should going forward, what if someone comes and says, maybe I should disregard your evidence because, the SAA, the records, you deny them, the parliamentary records is the same story, the Home Affairs, the features. So basically a number of issues really that they produce as evidence, but you basically say you stick to your story. So, which basically means, Blaine, the judge will have to really sit carefully and really interrogate all the evidence when he's making all that kind of, when he's making those recommendations at the end of the commission. Basically, that is the sum total of what transpired last week. So today, we will then, not last week, earlier this week, so today then we'll continue with some of the evidence. It also relates to what she said to who, and then they will probably be able to corroborate some of those things. As you know, that Dennis Bloem will be here, and of course the experts from the Department of Public Works will be here, and Mr. McBride, who she says she conducted personally when she was laying those charges.
Right, and I just wanted to understand, and what you're hearing from the ground, Mzwai, what are observers or commentators saying about Ms. Mentor? How did she hold up during cross-examination?
Well, it didn't look very good. At times you could see she was agitated because and it's just that I think the presiding judge really is, I think he's got such a steady hand. He is able to really manage matters. At some point, you could see that the interaction between herself and the evidence leader, Ms. Silo, so was not really nice because the fact that they kept asking for her to explain certain aspects, somehow you could see a little bit of getting agitated. But on the whole, I think the proceedings were properly managed, and then they went off smoothly. And even in the end, herself, Ms. Mentor, said there was a time where she felt perhaps this whole process was unfair to her, but the manner in which the judge was conducting the affairs then gave her confidence to say, well, it doesn't matter who you are, this judge will make sure that you get a fair hearing. So on the whole, so the process went off very smoothly, despite the fact that here and there you could see a bit of irritation, a bit of agitation. But I think everyone in the end really was satisfied. So it will be up to the judge really to rule in the end. And the judge has been stressing this, Blaine. One of the things that I really picked up when the judge was speaking, he said, Ms. Mentor, you appear to have this remembering of the finer details of things that happened many, many years ago, and then not only that, but the judge was basically saying it would be important to establish certain facts around what she said. I think one of the things that I think the judge would really put a lot of weight to is the issue from Cape Town to Johannesburg, Bloem. Remember, if the judge is to even consider that the meeting happened at Saxon World, so they must be able really to establish that she did leave Cape Town, and then how she left Cape Town, and then he can then consider what happened in Saxon World. But if that process is not able to yield any result, I think it will be very, very difficult for the judge to even consider some of the evidence. That's why I'm saying he will have a lot of scrutinizing and going through and really paying attention to detail to be able to really come to a determination as to what is it that he will accept and not accept.
Sorry, 9:30 start today, but earlier this morning.
Well, when we adjourned earlier this week, so it feels like it was last week. You know, yesterday's break, it's a bit disruptive. So the judge basically said, because there are a number of people that need to be need to go through this, so we needed to start earlier, which is 9:30, and possibly finish much later, perhaps 5 or even after 5.
Okay.
But I don't know whether it was just a mistake on the part of the commission. When they issued that advisory yesterday, they said we are starting at 10. So possibly they may have been changed, or they just took it because the commission has always set at 10. So we'll see. Insofar as we are concerned, we are readying ourselves to start at 9:30.
Okay. We'll try to check in with you in about 15 minutes or so. Mzandile Mbeje live for us in Parktown, Johannesburg. He is SABC senior political reporter. Yes?